Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to our latest episode of Founders Kahani. So as you all know that in Founders Kahani we always invite amazing founders, industry leaders from all around the world so that you guys can get help to build your kahani, to build your startup initiative. So today we are tapping a very interesting topic. So which is like like in the previous few years, Saudi Arabian market is literally buzzing and it's a gold mine for startup founders and from all over the world, the startup founders are running towards the Saudi Arabia. Their Vision 2030 is amazing. They are helping startup founders to build crazy things. So that's why like it's a very buzzing market. But the problem is that a lot of founders who are at very early stage or maybe who are like more grown stage, they do not know how to basically tap to that market, right? How to do business development in that market, how to build sales channels in that market, because it's also a very tricky market as well. And especially for the American founders and from the European founders, it's a very different dynamics to tap. It's a very different market to tap, and as well very different weather and very harsh weather to tap. So today we have an amazing guy with us all the way from Saudi Arabia that's gonna basically help us in solving our this problem. So please welcome Yazed. He is an expert business developer and sales channels expert all the way from Saudi Arabia. How are you, Yazed, today?
Hi, Abu Bakr. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well. Really looking forward to speaking with you and sharing a little bit of what I know.
That's great. That's great. So this is Founders Kahani. So let's start this conversation with your kahani. Like, what's your story and what you have been doing so far?
Of course, but can you explain to me first what Kahani means?
So kahani means story in Urdu, basically. So it is like
Oh.
stories of founders and industry leaders. So if I ask you what's your story is.
All right, amazing. So my story is it starts back in 2019. In 2019, I used to be a student at Monash University in Malaysia. And during this time, I did a double bachelor's in media studies and international business administration. That being said, I didn't complete my degree because I wanted to launch my own business. So I think it was around December 2019. We had a winter break because their winter, yeah, so we had a winter break. And I was like, let me look into like what. So I was a student, so I didn't have, that much money. So I kind of had to make ends meet, had to kind of make up with the resources that I had. And I talked to my brother who supported me with half of the amount needed. And we started to import firewood from South Africa. And also, I have to mention that it wasn't like a random idea. My father at the time had a warehouse in the central firewood market in Riyadh. Um, so the warehouse was there. I had a little bit of money saved up. My brother, he supported me as well. So I got the first two containers actually online, and I was a bit skeptical because it's 2019 and you're buying from South Africa. It's like um, it's a bit worrying. You know what I mean? Like how are you gonna buy import things online? But I did my due diligence, alhamdulillah, and the guy turned out to be very solid. He shipped out the containers. They came to Riyadh, and I came back, as I said, initially for a winter break, but then I started to really focus on this business. So this was back in the beginning of 2020. Um, well, I had a few hiccups during this time, and for example, I didn't know much about import clearance. I didn't know much about, balance sheets. So I mean, it was a bit of a mess, honestly. But Alhamdulillah, eventually I broke even, and that wasn't my ambition. Obviously, it was I was aspiring to be very profitable in 3 to 6 months, and that's like a classic beginner's mistake, right? Um, well, anyway, so the pandemic hits back in, I think the lockdown happened in March 2020. Um, so then going back to Malaysia wasn't really an option anymore. So I had to reshift my focus basically to Saudi. Um, I got a job during the pandemic, which was quite a blessing, honestly, because nobody was hiring during the pandemic,
Yeah.
in a call center. In a call center working for the Saudi Tourism Authority. They hired me because I speak German, in addition to Arabic and English. Um, so it's a call center to serve like international tourists, etc. And honestly, it kind of seems like it's not related to sales or business development, but I believe it very much is. Why? Because, during my time at this call center, um, I really was able to develop my communication skills. Because imagine you're on the phone speaking to 60, 70, 80 people a day,
Yeah.
you start to know how to listen properly, how to respond, how to manage, angry customers, so I mean, it was quite a good, I think any good salesperson, you don't have to work in a call center, but if you work in a call center, it does give you that edge of communicating, especially over the phone. So anyway, it didn't last long because it wasn't really my ambition to stay in a call center or to become like a supervisor or things like that. And I got an opportunity with a company called Bilbait, um, in business development. This was my first time, uh, my first opportunity I got in business development. And sorry, did you want to ask something?
No, no.
Ah, so this was my first opportunity in business development, my first entry, and I was super, super excited about it. Bilbait was an app it was a Kuwaiti app. So again, it wasn't Saudi based, it was regional, it was Kuwaiti based and or Kuwait based. And they wanted to basically, they already had someone, he was very good, but he was more on the operations side. So they wanted to hire their first, go-to-market kind of person. Um, so I joined them, alhamdulillah, and it was great. For the first month, I was trying to onboard restaurants, signing contracts, building relationships. However, alhamdulillah, I did get a health condition back then, so I couldn't really continue with Bilbait. So it only lasted for a month or so. Um, so I started to focus more on my recovery, on myself, on like how to recover. And alhamdulillah, after a few months, I got an opportunity with Foodix. Foodix is one of the largest, if not the largest, regional POS in Saudi. So they have maybe 40 to 50,000 restaurants. Now it's almost like a fintech, right? They have Foodix Pay, they have Foodix Online. At the time, it was a bit simpler. They only had the POS for the restaurant, which is the cashier system. But now it's much more advanced. Well, anyway, so I joined them as on a very entry level role. It was as well as a BDR role. So a BDR, so a lot of people maybe have a question like, what's the difference between an SDR and a BDR? So as far as I understand, is that a BDR does a lot of outbound. So basically, your task is to be aggressive, go to restaurants, walk in, call, do whatever to get a qualified meeting. Now, after the qualified meeting ends, or after you get the qualified meeting, it goes to the sales team and they close the deal. So that's when you hand over the deal. SDR is more like inbound qualification. So that's what I know. But anyway, so I start to work with Foodix as a BDR, and I loved it honestly, like due to multiple reasons. Um, First of all, Foodix, I had a great manager, Mohammed al-Sharif. He was really keen on learning and development. So we had twice a week we had learning like product knowledge meetings, right? So usually what happens sometimes is that you come in as a BDR and you are expected to book 50 meetings a day just like that. But Muhammad was really keen on making us experts on the product, right? And after we're very knowledgeable on the product, and after we know how to, and it wasn't even just like competitive research, right? It was more like know the product inside out, know the value prop, and then you'll be equipped to handle basically any objection. So we did that. I did Foodix for about a year. I worked partly in Riyadh and in Jeddah. So I moved to Jeddah for about 6 months, and that was also a great time where I built a lot of relationships in that office. But anyway, moving on from Foodix, and by the way, at Foodix, I believe I added about 1 million riyals in pipeline, right? 1 million, which was for me, I felt like it was okay. It was a good achievement for a BDR basically. Um, about a year onwards, I got an opportunity with a company called Otter, which is an integration solution for restaurants, which integrates like online ordering platforms like Hunger Station, Jahez, Marsool, etc., into the POS. So, for example, you have the restaurant cashier, right? And then you have a bunch of apps. Like, I don't know, in Pakistan, maybe you have, I believe you have Food Panda and you have Careem, right?
Yeah,
So
we do
just
have.
imagine like, right. So just imagine like you have the restaurant cashier, and then you have like in Saudi, yani in Saudi, it's a bit crazy because we have over 8 major online ordering applications, right? So definitely this product was very much in need. Um, and what it does basically, it integrates all these different devices and menus into one, like into the POS directly or into a tablet, like one tablet instead of 8 tablets. In addition to giving you like a dashboard to manage your menus all at once. So I worked with Otter for in for like this was my first entry into channel sales. And channel sales, the pitch that my manager gave me at the time, he was Italian, Michele, Michele Colesso. I learned a lot from Michele. From Michele, he gave me the pitch. He's like, Yazid, so you can be a sales executive, you can be an account executive, but in channel sales you become more strategic in your engagements. And I really thank him for that insight because really, the thing is, when you're direct to customer facing, you will get to meet customers, but most likely your relationship will be bound within the deal itself. So when the deal is over, then your relationship is over. But in channel sales, it's like you meet founders, you meet CEOs, you meet co-founders, and then you have to you can't just go and sell them something, right? You have to build that relationship, maintain that relationship. And that was a really good option, or that was a really good choice from Alhamdulillah from my end. So I went into channel sales with Otter. I was the first commercial hire for Otter in Saudi. And yeah, I mean, Otter was already very well established. It was a global American company. They had a regional office in Dubai, which is the case for many companies as well in the
Yeah,
region.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have seen like a lot of like Saudi people are very interested in these food delivery ideas, discount app ideas. I've been like when we do also do business development for the tech companies here, so we getting a lot of orders around people making delivery apps, making discount apps for the Saudi market.
Yeah, I think it's because, I mean, the food and beverage sector is I think it's about 150 billion
Yeah,
in size annually, and it's growing, expected to grow. So it's a huge sector, and everything in the ecosystem itself. I mean, now we have Jahez, which is a publicly listed company, right? We also have Ninja, who just raised $250 million on a plus billion evaluation. So obviously, you see, the food and beverage, even the quick commerce sector are very much promising. And Kita, I mean, let's not forget Kita. Kita,
Yeah.
they came in with a bang. They added, I think they allocated about 1 billion riyals, which is about $350 million approximately, for marketing. So now imagine you go on Kita, which is a Chinese company, and you go to their app, and almost everything is free delivery, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's an amazing journey. So you've been like basically that's a very deep down into like how you went from like from Malaysian market to Saudi Arabian market and then build a channel for these international brands. This is really amazing. So I wanted to basically tell the people who are in the meeting if they wanted to ask any question, they can raise hand and then can ask question. Meanwhile, Yazid, I do have some like, we heard a lot of myths about the Saudi market before entering into that market. So I want you to address that address that myth. So one of the first myth that usually people tell us that you have to be an Arabic speaker or you have to onboard an Arabic speaker to start or establish a business or do business development into Saudi market. So what's your take on that?
That's a really good question. To be honest, there's no black or white answer. I would say that, I'll give you an example of my last role at Deliverect, and I didn't cover Deliverect. At Deliverect, we had the head of partnerships who was Indian, he was from India. And when I came into Deliverect, Deliverect is also in the space of food tech integration with POSs. Um, See, partnerships were already established, right? And he had the skill, but he lived, excuse me, he lived in Dubai or the UAE for about 10 years. So he was familiar with the region, right? I don't think it's necessarily about the Arabic speaker more than understanding people. Again, my previous the manager before that, Michele, he was Italian. He didn't speak a word of Arabic except Assalamu alaikum, kayf al-hal. So then he was also very good at building these relationships. So I don't think it's necessarily about speaking Arabic. It's more about speaking people. And what I mean by that is, so if you know how to, so you don't come to Saudi and you treat them like you are in XYZ country, right? You come to Saudi, you learn how people interact, and then, you kind of adapt to that interaction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, like you told us, like that guy has an experience into the Dubai market, right? And I totally understand. Like wherever you go, you have to understand the people before basically, settling in. So I'm asking from a question from that guy's perspective, who has no idea about this market, who just heard the buzzword Saudi Arabia and who want to be the part of the Vision 2030 and he booked his ticket to Riyadh and now he's in landed in Riyadh and he wanted to do business development. So what should he do exactly?
I think he should re-examine his intention, because the thing is, people see Vision 2030, they see billions being invested, but then again, like, why do you want to come to Saudi, right? Are you here with the intention of making some quick money? Then I honestly recommend you book the first flight back, and just call it a day. Or are you here with the intention to, let's say, add value to Saudi, add value to the people in Saudi, or add value from based in Saudi for like globally, right? So I think it's first, like, why do you want to come? Because at the end of the day, maybe some people think that um, I think someone has a question. I'll get to the question right after
Yeah,
this point, but
yeah.
so I think at the end of the day, it's about people. There might be this perception that Saudis, oh, oil, money, right? And we just throw the money. It's not like that. You know, I can tell you from experience, it's not like that.
So, I guess basically we have come to the end of this meeting. So, thank you so much, Yazid, for coming to this meeting and addressing our founders. I hope you had a great time with us, and we are really looking forward for organizing a more deeper session with you, where we can basically deeply connect with the founders in a much longer meeting where we have much more time, and we already had some like traction like what exactly founders want from you. And so this is it. So if you have any ending remarks for the Founders Kahani community and for our listeners, what do you have?
First of all, Abu Bakr, thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. And then finally, I'll keep it simple. Come to Saudi, Habibi. You know, come to Saudi, see the people, meet the people, and you'll trust me. It will be, inshallah, beyond your expectations. The hospitality, the friendliness, the openness. So come here and don't worry. That's all I can say.
Yeah, exactly. So, guys, but like if you are a founder, your whole life is about worries. So, thank you so much, guys, for listening to today's episode. I hope you liked our meeting today. I hope you liked the insights today. So, if you guys want to see more of the episodes, more of the already recorded podcast with amazing founders from all around the world, subscribe to our channel, subscribe to our social channels, and also you can sign up for our community link where we have an amazing network of founders where we help you to build your kahani, to build your startup journey. So this is Abu Bakr Dilawar signing off from Founders Kahani's this episode. See you until next time. Allah Hafiz.